So the Warriors, I picked the Warriors to win in 6. They lost in 6. It was a pretty bad defeat as well. Because you're talking about a 122-101 loss to the Los Angeles Lakers, who I don't know if people had a lot of respect because they started off the season, what was it, 2-10. They were a 500 team throughout the year. They still had Russell Westbrook. He wasn't that great. He was called Russell Westbrick. He had turnover problems. And then when they trade him away, they're like, oh, snap. This team actually may look good. Now, I picked the Grizzlies to beat them in the first round. I was wrong. Then I picked the Warriors to beat them in the second round. I was wrong. And so, I'm not going to... Hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm going to pick the Lakers to win in 7. I will pick the Lakers to win in 7. But that will require something that hasn't been done yet in these playoffs. The Nuggets to lose at home. I believe they're 6-0 at home. The Lakers are also 6-0 at home. This series could definitely go 7. And you know what? Like I said, I expect it to. So before I jump into, the Dynasty and the Warriors and what they should do next, I just want to say my pick, personally, will be Lakers in 7. Because I think Anthony Davis has been great. Something that, Jokic really hasn't had is a tough body defensively on him when he's down low. Hasn't really had that. I think Anthony Davis will be that type of person. LeBron, he had a 39-9 game. That's incredible for a guy who's, nearing 40 years old. And we expect, LeBron to still be this 2018 carry a team to the finals LeBron. He doesn't actually need to be that anymore. And hell, right now, he's technically a number 2 for the Lakers. It's Anthony Davis who's actually stepped up in these playoffs, surprisingly, and been the number 1. That's what LeBron wanted AD to do 3 years ago in the bubble. For him to step up, hand the baton to him, and carry the Lakers organization. But the past 2 years, Anthony Davis has dealt with injury problems, same as LeBron. LeBron actually had to retain that number 1 spot for the Lakers and had to keep that, basically saying, yeah, I'm still the guy, I know. This is where we're going. And now in the playoffs, it looks like that baton may be handed back to AD because he has been the number 1 player for the Lakers. So my pick is Lakers in 7. They'll somehow pull out a weird victory against the Nuggets at home in Game 7, or on the road at Game 7 at the Nuggets. And we will see the Lakers back in the NBA Finals. It could be, here's the thing. I think there were 2 matchups that would have been a beautiful NBA Finals. The first one would be the Sixers-Nuggets. The could have been 3-time MVP versus the MVP winner of this year. That, I think, would have been a great matchup. Embiid versus Jokic. The battle of the MVPs. Or, what we could still see, Celtics-Lakers. 2 historically dominant franchises. Going head-to-head, you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, AD, and LeBron. That would be a crazy series to watch. That's the one I'm actually hoping for. And that's the one I think a lot of NBA fans, now if you think it's rigged, then I don't think you really have a proper opinion on this. I think that's what a lot of NBA fans could actually see. Now, Heat fans obviously want the Heat, Nuggets fans want the Nuggets, so on and so forth. But I think, if you enjoy just the idea of basketball and you love the history of basketball like I do, I think a great match would be LeBron and the Lakers versus Jason Tatum and the Celtics in the finals. I think that would just be a great series. But let's dive into Game 6, and let's dive into what the Warriors should do heading into the next season. I'm not going to go on here and say what Colin Cowherd is going to say. And the Warriors should go out and get Jaylen Brown. Yeah, no, that would just boost your Los Angeles ratings and everything like that. You live in LA, you're going to be a homer and say, oh, yeah, we're probably going to get the best number 2 in the league. No, I think that's unrealistic. You're already spending so much money on the players you have already that you're gonna get a guy that could be a part of a deal. If the Celtics do decide to extend him on a supermax, they could be spending $613 million on 2 guys, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So I don't think the Warriors are gonna do that. Honestly, I don't think that's gonna be smart for the Warriors to do because I don't think they could actually pay that much. But what should they do? Well, the entire playoffs, Jordan Poole has not been good. Hell, can we even say he played poorly? If not bad, if not terribly? Yeah, we could definitely say that. I think that's well warranted. Hell, you weren't even allowed to be in the starting lineup. Gary Payton started over you. Gary Payton is a 7th or 8th man at the very best. He's made for basically defensive purposes. He's not an offensive guy. You were supposed to be the next splash brother. Be the third splash brother. And so when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson retires, you could step into that splash brother role and be successful. You couldn't even make the starting lineup. And in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, I can bring it up right now. In the first half, you went 0 for 2 with 4 fouls. You just played dumb basketball. Now, I don't want to hear this series was rigged. That's stupid. The Lakers, and you're going to bring up the fouls. The Lakers throughout the entire season have been the more physical team. They've been dominating down low, getting fouls called on them, shooting free throws. The Warriors are a small team who don't drive, who don't get fouls called on them, who rely mainly on the three. That's what the Warriors have been, and I've said this constantly. At the very beginning of this series, I said in game 1, after Anthony Davis had a great game, I said this worries me since I picked the Warriors. The Lakers are the bigger, stronger, more dominant team. They're the more physical team. The Warriors rely too much on the three. Lo and behold, they shot nearly 50 three-pointers and only made 27% of them. This is what the Warriors are. Klay Thompson shot 2 of 12 from 3. That's bad. He shot 3 of 19 total from the field, had 8 points. The second highest scorer on the Warriors, and the only other player to go in double digits for scoring, was Dante DiVincenzo with 16 points. Curry had double that at 32. The Warriors have had a problem with big men for the past about half decade. That's why they drafted James Wiseman. Kevon Looney, while rebounding-wise, he's very, very good, especially in these playoffs. He had 18 rebounds in this game. Offensively, he is a liability compared to the rest of the league. You need to go out and get a dominant big man who could score as well as rebound. Now, would you take someone who doesn't get maybe 20 rebounds in the playoffs or even 15 rebounds in the playoffs and rather go for a guy that gets about 10 but also gives you 18, 19 points a game? Yeah, instead of Kevon Looney, who's averaging, 8, 9 points along with 15 rebounds? I think that would be a smart idea. Go out and get a guy that could shoot nearly 20 points a game along gives you double-digit rebounds. Kuminga, you finally played him for 4 minutes. I mean, I understand you were losing that badly, but he could have been your little spark, your athletic spark for that team. You really didn't even play him. Anthony Lamb, I didn't love that pickup. Moses Moody hasn't been the player you wanted him to be. Jordan Poole has regressed severely after getting that contract. Andrew Wiggins was dealing with a personal issue, so we could take one step back, although he didn't have a great game in this game. We could honestly, we could take a step back and understand, he didn't play for about a month, 2 months. So we can sort of understand that. Now, it's not a full excuse because you're there. When you play, you show up, you got to perform. But you could at least, understand why he maybe wasn't playing at 100%. Draymond Green? Hell, Draymond Green's putting up 20-point games in this series. Shocked me. Now, Draymond Green wants to get paid. Wants to get paid a lot of money. Is he worth it? For the Warriors, I would say yes. For any other organization, I don't think he'd be worth it. Klay Thompson. Defensively, he hasn't been the same since his injuries. Offensively, he made the most threes this season out of any player. But in this playoff series, he did not look good. Game 6, Klay was abysmal. It wasn't that, Cinderella run like he had against the Thunder. This was a bad game on many fronts. So the Warriors' next move should be, it seems like, obviously they're going to keep Steph Curry. They're probably going to keep Draymond Green. And reportedly, they're going to ask Klay Thompson to take a pay cut. And I think Klay Thompson owes him that. After you had a bad series, and throughout the year, you weren't great. The past 2 seasons, you've been all right. You've had your moments. I think, you know what? Take a team-friendly deal. You keep the core together. Steve Kerr seemingly is going to build the Warriors around Steph Curry's timeline, reportedly. So nothing's really going to change. He still believes in you. He said even after the game, how these players still have a lot left in the tank. So Steve Kerr still believes in you. This series was just bad. The Warriors got exposed. They fouled too much, relied too much on the three, can't rebound that well outside of Kevon Looney. They were a small team. The Lakers were the more physical, the bigger, the more dominant team. And that's why they won. The Warriors, they need to do something about the Jordan Poole situation. I said this months ago. Don't be surprised if Jordan Poole is not in a Golden State Warriors uniform next year. That punch, while it was so long ago, the ripple effects are even being felt till this day. We've seen a lot of times Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Steph Curry try to talk to him. He brushes them off. That's not a good sign. So I would expect Jordan Poole would be in a different uniform. What can you get from him? I think you can get a decent amount because I still think he has some value to him. Now, this playoff performance doesn't help his stock, but I still think he's a pretty good player. So I would definitely expect maybe get rid of Kuminga. Now, obviously, that would be a bad move. He's a very, very young athletic player, but you need some sort of big man. You may need to get off Kevon Looney. That's an unpopular opinion. I actually like Kevon Looney. But he's not a dominant big man. Now, he can rebound. We saw it in the playoff series. Each series he's been in, against the Kings, he rebounded. He averaged like 18 rebounds in the Kings series. And now in the Lakers series, but 18 rebounds in the last game. And it was very, very effective on the boards. But offensively, he's not that great. Congrats to the Lakers. From what they were to what they are now, I actually could say I expected it because I said this team should at least be a play-in team, if not a playoff team. And lo and behold, they're in the Western Conference Finals. So I could sort of say I expected this, even though I picked against them in the playoffs. Because they should have with the team they have. With the defensive performance they were putting on the back half of the year, I expected this. But I did expect them to lose this series and the series prior against the Grizzlies. The Warriors, I don't know what they're going to do. Steve Kerr still believes in this core. Steph Curry at 35, the Warriors are super reliant on him. I don't know how much you could put on a 35-year-old guy who could still shoot the lights out of the ball, but a 6'2", 6'3" guard who's 35 years old. How much can you rely on it? Because if Steph Curry's not going, this team doesn't really get going. Imagine if Steph Curry has a 20-point game. The Warriors lose by maybe 40 or 50 points. Let's be honest. Steph Curry in this series is actually more of a point guard. I believe he averaged near double-digit assists. So Steph Curry was doing his part. No one else really did. And that's why the Warriors lost. He even said this team is not a championship team. And I said that from the very, very beginning of the season. This Warriors team does not look like it has the hunger and the drive to win again. Could it be fatigue from winning 4 championships? 5 championships? 4 championships. Maybe. That could be it, but they just came off of 2 seasons where they didn't even make it to the playoffs. One of those seasons, I think they were the worst team in the NBA. So, this team needs a big man. Said that from the beginning. They get out-rebounded. They get dominated in the paint. They don't have that force to get fouled in the paint, make free throws. So, this team, like Steve Kerr said, ultimately maxed out. And that's why they lost in 6. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.